What's up, Eagles Nation? What's going on, NFL world? How you doing, division rivals? This is Stephen Hyder with Gate City Sports Channel, the sports channel where the cerebral NFL fan comes for about 10 minutes of daily content. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, whenever it is you get around to watching this, ladies and gentlemen. Stephen Hyder, Gate City Sports Channel. All right, y'all, today's topic. Look, I said I was going to kind of stick with some defensive players for a while, guys, because I feel like we just went through like a million days worth of offensive players. So today, I really want to talk about Kvon Wallace, or K'Von Wallace. I'm not too sure what the inflection is there. Safety from Clemson. I thought that this, out of all the picks Howie made, and I love the Jalen Reagor pick. You guys know I was a huge Jalen Reagor fan. I kept trying to tell people that Jalen Reagor was being slept on, that this kid was way more explosive than a lot of, the average fans realized. But I thought, honestly, this pick, K'Von Wallace, or K'Von Wallace, however he goes with this, I thought this was the best pick of the draft. And that means a lot, guys, because you got to understand, I'm an NC State guy, all right? Listen, I was a student at State. Like, I've lived in Raleigh for a long time. After I left the Philadelphia area, guys, I settled into Raleigh. We don't like Clemson. As a matter of fact, if Virginia Tech and Clemson are the other two engineering schools that, are in the ACC that NC State kind of beefs with a little bit here. So with that said, for an NC State guy to say, hey, I thought this was the best pick that Howie Roseman made of the draft, it should tell you just how high I am on this kid. Because I do think this kid is incredibly talented, man. I think there's something to this prospect. I think he's going to be a good one in that midnight green uniform. Now, I will say this. I've heard some hot takes, and I'm going to tell you, I really do appreciate the guys that came out there and they were like, look, I think this kid's going to start from day one, because I got to be real with you. Hey, that's pushing your chips on the table. I got to give them credit, because, man, that's basically saying you think guys that have been in a league a lot longer and have shown production are going to get beat out by this rookie, because this kid is that good. I love this kid's interviews. I love what I've heard this kid say about he's coming in here to hit somebody. He's not kidding around. I love all that about him. I wouldn't go as far as saying that he's going to be a day one starter. I don't necessarily go that far. But I think he's going to be an impact player this season. No doubt about it. He's going to play a role. We love to move and use safeties. We will play big nickel and even play three safeties. And he fits the guys we have on the field. It seems like Jim Schwartz really loves these strange kind of in-between coverage safety guys. These weird guys like Jalen Mills, right? Will Parks, and now K'Von Wallace. Look, I'm excited to see him, man. I think he's a fit. All right, y'all, without further ado, though, I've delayed long enough. Let's go ahead and let's jump into today's topic. We're talking about K'Von Wallace, safety, Clemson University. All right, y'all, let's get it.
Fly, Eagles, fly, baby. Fly, Eagles, fly.
All right, guys, let's talk about K'Von Wallace. Now, this is what I'll say about this young man. Positional versatility, definitely. The young man, when he was being spoken to by the local reporters as they were introducing this young man, I mean, he said it straightforward and right up front that he will do whatever the team requires of him to do. That he can play pretty much all across the board. It is no concern to him. Wherever they can put him on the field to make plays, he will go play that role.
What makes me a great safety is the fact that you can get multiple positions out of me. I can play corner, I can play nickel, I can play safety.
With that said, when you go consult the film for his positional alignment at Clemson, you really do see this young man play all over the board. I mean, I saw him lined up as the free safety. I saw him lined up as a strong safety. And they dropped him down in coverages almost as a nickelback at times. So, I mean, the young man was definitely a versatile football player. I mean, they really did scheme him everywhere. I mean, they played it by the matchup. They had a lot of depth out that safety position. And look, though, they didn't have trouble flip-flopping guys like Isaiah Simmons and K'Von Wallace in and out of the lineup wherever they needed them to play. They had no bones about it. They definitely did that kind of thing. K'Von Wallace is clearly using an outside technique there to filter him inside and protect against the fade. Now, I will say this. He is much better playing he's much better playing the ball in front of him than playing over the top. I do think that there is some concern that maybe he doesn't have the speed that is required basically to play over the top. He's not the most rangiest guy there. Now, I mean, he ran like a 4.53 40, so I don't think it's necessarily his foot speed. Maybe he doesn't read and diagnose plays very well over the top. Maybe that's what's slowing him down. I'm not sure, guys. It's just look, you could see it clearly on film. He's much better playing in front of him than he is playing over the top.
Has happened so far tonight. On second down, a throw and a catch short of the first
in
down.
providing that support. I don't think that's the role you're going to want to play him in. So basically, I think he's more suited to play either the nickel or to possibly play that strong safety role. And my money would be on this young man being utilized and used as a strong safety more so than like, a free or a nickel. Now, lined up on tight ends, I think this kid would be good because he's got some physicality to his game. I do think that we would be a little cautious with lining this kid up on really good slot receivers because he does give up some separation at times. Now, with that said, look, I thought that the kid played pretty well against KJ Hill in that Ohio State game.
Fields is a big, strong guy, able to sit in there, get enough on that ball.
KJ Hill's a pretty good slot receiver. KJ Hill's about what you would expect slot receivers to be in the NFL. And I thought the kid, maybe he was fortunate a few times with balls being deflected and kind of slowing down that throw when maybe he gained separation, which gave him some time to recover. But recovery speed is a real thing, and the kid does have recovery speed. And I thought he played well. Look how well K'Von Wallace reads this little flat pass. He knew exactly where that ball was going. Oh, I mean, you could nitpick. You could definitely nitpick, guys, and say that there were a few times he got taken advantage of by slot receivers. But I think you line this kid up on a linebacker. I think you line this kid up on certain slot receivers, and I think he can definitely play a nickel-type role for you. I definitely think he fits that Jalen, Mills and that, Will Parks. Now, I will say this. Will Parks is your better coverage guy inside. I think Will Parks is very dynamic playing the football inside. I mean, all you got to do is go back to Will Parks, video, watch what he did against Kansas City. I thought Will Parks did an excellent job there, and I think he's definitely your coverage guy. I think he's going to give you that in coverage, and Will Parks will come up and stick you as well. There is some physicality to his game. But I got to tell you, man, you watch this young man play off the edge, guys, in the box as a blitzer. That is tremendous bend around the corner for a safety. Not expected out of a safety. Let him play around the line of scrimmage and get physical, play that Malcolm Jenkins role. K'Von Wallace has got it, guys. Look, he's raw. He's not a finished product. Definitely saw him get picked up by, I think that was J.K. Dobbins that picked him up on the blitz. Look at that speed off the edge. But in all honesty, you need to push that running back right into the quarterback's lap. But at the same time, he's being picked up by a J.K. Dobbins on the blitz. If you go and you watch other plays where he's basically being utilized as a pass rusher, he's lined up on their left tackle, and he's really bending the edge quite well for what he is as being a safety. I mean, he really contorted his body and bent the edge very well. I thought he did a really, really good job there. This kid is relentless, guys. He has a motor that is pretty impressive to watch. He just kind of keeps coming, man. I mean, that's kind of his game is like every down's going to be the Super Bowl to this kid. And he keeps bringing that relentless energy down in and down out. And eventually he gets there, man. He just breaks people down by being that relentless football player. And he gets there.
They fake it to Dobbins. Fields has to elude the rush and can't.
I will say this. The kid really shows up with physicality. There was one play on the goal line, guys, that just really stuck out to me in terms of him being a playmaker. To where, basically, look, it's within 5 yards. I'm going to plant this dude, put him on his butt, and then I'm going to go shoot after this athletic quarterback and stop him from trying to roll the pocket and walk into the end zone.
Ohio State.
Love that play from this young man. Would love to see this kid bring that kind of intensity to Philadelphia because that's the things that make you excited for this young man.
Look into Fields. He scrambles, delivers.
At the same time, guys, I will tell you, he's not the best when it comes to playing in space. He's not the best tackler in space. I thought he was really good in the attack. If you get this kid attacking, he's a good tackler. Man, you get this kid in space trying to play a more shifty running back. Dobbins made him look like a fool, guys. It was pretty bad to see on film. It's not a strength. It's definitely not a strength.
Dobbins in the clear. Off to the races.
But look, you can work with a kid like this, man. Look, he's going to have some growth. I mean, you could teach him how to take better angles. I mean, I definitely think that what hurt him was the angle he took. It's not necessarily the athleticism of the kid. He just took a really bad angle. I mean, I watch kids do this every year that I've coached, guys. I mean, sometimes kids just take bad angles, and a player who understands the leverage and positioning really well will make you look stupid if you do that. It happens to even the best players, guys. I definitely think that we'll need to see more production out of this kid in the open field in terms of his tackling ability. We wouldn't want this kid to be our last line of defense right now. That's obviously, something that you can see. I thought this young man was absolutely great at making risky plays. He doesn't always secure the catch, but he'll jump a route, guys.
Fields has protection. Almost intercepted.
I think we're going to thoroughly enjoy this kid because if he thinks he sees the play, guys, he will not hesitate. He's going to jump it.
But look at Wallace baited. Simmons sinks. He knows it's coming out quickly.
And there were a few times where it's like, man, if he just secured that catch, it's a pick six. Because, man, he jumped the route. He definitely understood what he saw. He trusted his instinct, guys, and he shot it. And, boy, he could be special if he learned how to secure a catch or two. I mean, there's clearly a reason why he's playing in the secondary. Don't get me wrong. But, man, if this kid ever secures a catch, guys, boy, oh, boy, it's going to be fun to watch because he really, really trusts his instincts sometimes. And he just shoots it. And, boom, he's there. He's got it. I mean, quarterbacks were thoroughly confused at times because they thought they fooled him with their eye movement, and he wasn't fooled at all. He played them, and he played them beautifully. He played that string instrument like none other because he definitely saw the play. He knew exactly what was happening.
Beginning quarter number 2. Fields from the pocket, harasses, he throws, tried to get it to him.
Some of my closing thoughts on this young man are this. I definitely think this kid is physical. I think he's got the potential to be an in-the-box safety. I think you could see this kid develop into a Malcolm Jenkins-like role. I will tell you this, he ain't there yet. He's just not there yet, guys. Like he still struggles getting offensive linemen off of him, which is always going to be a struggle for a safety just because there's a big mismatch here between size. But he's not the most functionally strong guy. I think an NFL weight room is going to do a lot for this young man because there are times he can't exactly, stack and shed that lineman. And that's what's going to happen when you got these faster kind of football players. And that's what we see from the Eagles right now. So definitely, I think there's potential there. I don't think this is a kid who's going to get pushed around by many players as he adds strength because just judging from the mentality of this young man, I can't see it happening. With that said, it's there. I saw it. Here's the film.
Dobbins running right, makes a cut, runs out of a tackle.
Let me know your thoughts here. All right, guys. So we know what I think about this young man, but you already know I'm going to ask you. I want to know, what do you think about this young man? All right, guys, leave your comments and your thoughts below. I'd like to know what you think about the kid. Hey, I think we found something. I'm not a Clemson guy. I despise Clemson. With that said, man, this kid can play. There's no doubt about it. I think this young man is a football player. I mean, I can't wait to see what this kid does in an Eagles uniform. All right, y'all. You know we end these videos. We do a little something where we go E-A-G-L-E-S. All right, y'all. Let's go Eagles.